If you were being pursued by a huge prehistoric shark that wouldn't stop until it consumed everything around you, what would you do? In this video, we'll analyze the mistakes made and discuss the best decisions to survive the megalodon in The Meg. These guys are about to witness the biggest aberration of their lives as they are part of a rescue team led by Jonas, dedicated to saving sailors trapped in a submarine that was attacked by something. After rescuing several of them, an unknown external attack damages the submarine, and Jonas evacuates the survivors to a rescue submarine, but two men are still trapped. However, due to the ongoing attack, Jonas faces the painful decision of sacrificing the men to save the others or risking everyone. Reluctantly, he abandons them to ensure the safety of the rest. 5 years later in Shanghai, a helicopter brings Morris to the Mana 1 research facility in the ocean, where a project that promises to revolutionize the world is underway. He is welcomed by Zhang, the station director, who introduces him to his daughter Su-Yin, the biologist and team leader. Descending to the lower levels, they reach the central axis leading to the laboratories, where Morris admires the view of the ocean depths as part of the building is submerged. Zhang introduces Morris to the team and reveals him as the project's financier. Okay, you must be wondering what this project is all about. According to Zhang, for all these years, people thought that the Mariana Trench was the deepest part of the ocean. However, after some studies, they discovered that a non-solid layer was concealing an unknown world beyond the seabed, where a team led by Captain Lori was sent to the ocean's depths. The submarine easily crossed the barrier, revealing an ocean floor teeming with life. However, the team is alerted by radar about the imminent approach of a colossal entity heading swiftly towards them. And before the creature attacks the submarine, Lori mentions that Jonas was right. Then, communication is lost, preventing the crew from returning to the surface. Okay, Jonas had prior experience in various deep-sea diving and rescue operations. However, during his last mission, he identified something of immense proportions on the radar and was accompanied by other sailors who also witnessed a nuclear submarine being easily destroyed. Surprisingly, his observations were not taken seriously, and a crew was sent to the same location, which could have been avoided since it would have been wiser to send robots to check the area's safety before risking human lives. Considering that sunlight doesn't reach this part of the ocean, and most creatures are attracted to light, the crew should have turned off all the submarine's lights and waited for the creature to move away, making a safer decision. Later, the group discusses the situation and decides to turn to Jonas, but Dr. Heller, who was aboard Jonas's last mission, opposes it due to his previous actions. However, Mac reminds everyone that Jonas's decision prevented a higher number of deaths, and furthermore, Lori confirmed that Jonas was right. So, they find Jonas in Thailand, who initially refuses to dive again, but upon learning that his ex-wife Lori was also on the submarine, he feels compelled to accept the mission. Meanwhile, in the ocean, the crew regains power and can now watch an episode of Surviving the Monsters while awaiting rescue, and you can go ahead and like and subscribe to support the channel. However, the lights trigger another attack from the creature, with the captain getting injured and the oxygen supply compromised, leaving only a few minutes of life for the crew. Aware of the urgency, Su-Yin initiates an independent rescue, promising to return to her daughter. She enters the submarine and dives into the depths of the ocean to save her friends, unaware that she is about to encounter the ocean's largest monster. Su-Yin goes even deeper into the water, cautiously advancing to avoid potential hostile creatures, and soon finds her friends trapped at the ocean's bottom. Using hooks, she attempts to secure the damaged submarine, but is surprised by an attack from behind, causing the submarine to shake violently. Despite the encounter, she recovers, but enormous tentacles quickly envelop her, squeezing her submarine from all sides, making it clear that the creature is a giant squid. However, as the capsule is being damaged, the creature releases it after being attacked by none other than a gigantic shark, a megalodon, an ancient predator believed to be extinct. However, the megalodon turns its attention to Su-Yin and swiftly moves towards her, aiming to destroy the submarine. In the nick of time, the megalodon changes course upon seeing numerous signal lights. It's Jonas, who arrived just in time to distract the creature, leading it away from the people and providing a small chance for them to escape. While the shark is distracted by the lights, Jonas manages to attach Lori's damaged submarine and rescue everyone into his own submarine. However, before the rescue can be completed, the immense creature begins to return, and aware of the shortage of time, the last crew member pushes the others out and hastily closes the hatch, sending the rescue submarine far away. He then turns on all the lights to lure the creature towards him, resulting in a collision that causes a powerful explosion and thus sacrificing himself to save the others. Okay, all of this is truly fascinating because the megalodon went extinct nearly 2 million years ago, but the causes of its extinction remain shrouded in mystery, whether due to climate changes or competition with other predators. With only 10% of the ocean explored, there's still the possibility that a creature of this magnitude is not extinct. As for the nuclear submarine, everything now makes sense because the megalodon holds the title for the most powerful bite in the animal kingdom, with 20 tons of force in its jaws, much more than the Tyrannosaurus rex with its 3 tons. This would explain its ability to crush even steel, as we saw earlier. However, as for Su Yin, being a biologist, she should have been aware that abyssal creatures are attracted to lights. Therefore, descending to that location with the headlights on seems like a wrong decision, especially considering that the crew had already left a trail of lights. Su Yin could have simply followed that trail. The team manages to return to the surface, although they mourn the loss of their colleague. Jonas carries the guilt of not being able to save the scientist. Later, people gather to discuss the next steps. However, Morris reveals a purely profit-driven interest in the megalodon after the discovery. Meanwhile, Su Yin's daughter explores the lower levels without realizing that the enormous shark is stealthily approaching. The creature bites the glass and shakes the entire building, forcing people to figure out what happened. They find only a giant bite mark, and then the creature attacks a whale in front of them, effortlessly splitting it in two. It is completely inconsistent that the giant shark emerged rapidly, ignoring the effects of decompression and temperature. In reality, it would have experienced significant decompression and probably wouldn't have survived before reaching the depth of 2,000 meters. This can be exemplified by the case of the blobfish, which suffered deformities due to decompression when caught at the ocean's bottom by fishermen. However, now that the megalodon is on the surface, it is more vulnerable and can be effectively combated. The group can use torpedoes, helicopters, and mines to neutralize the threat. Furthermore, the material of the base, probably polycarbonate, has shown remarkable resistance to a 20-ton bite. In my opinion, not eliminating this creature would be a mistake. They could build a cage made of this material to contain the megalodon. After the incident, they theorized that by leaving the seabed, they inadvertently provided the creature with an escape route from its natural habitat. Soon, alerts appear on their computers, indicating that several ships have sunk in the region, likely victims of the creature's attacks. Acting quickly, they head to the ocean and arrive at the scene, only to find shipwrecks. They understand the need to contain the threat before more destruction occurs, but preparation time is limited. Instead of capturing it, they decide to implant a tracker on its dorsal fin to prevent the shark from destroying more ships. However, someone has to get close to the creature, and since no one volunteers, Jonas dives to approach the animal while swimming and place the tracker, but after entering the water, he realizes the foolishness of the plan. Surprisingly, the megalodon seems to have no interest in devouring him, ignoring his presence and allowing him to successfully place the tracker. However, the team pulls Jonas back too quickly, causing a sudden movement in the water that makes the creature hostile, with Jonas becoming a target. Fearing the loss of their comrade, they increase the boat's power and drag him for a while. Luckily, at the last moment, he is rescued back onto the boat and survives. Well, I'm not sure if Jonas is the bravest man I've ever seen or the most reckless. Because even if Jonas took Captain America's super soldier serum, I doubt he could have reached that creature by swimming. Although Megalodon's speed is not exact given that the species is extinct, scientists estimate that it could swim at speeds of 6 to 12 miles per hour, while a trained human can barely reach 4 miles per hour. And assuming Jonas could reach that speed, the mere idea of approaching the animal would be crazy, let alone shooting it from just 9 feet away. The danger would be imminent since the megalodon is notably deadly, capable of swallowing prey in the blink of an eye. The more sensible alternative would have been to use bait with a tracker, allowing the monster to swallow it without anyone having to take such risks. Furthermore, the team could have been better prepared by requesting the presence of a helicopter for comprehensive aerial surveillance. This could have helped track the megalodon safely, especially considering its overwhelming strength. An attack from the megalodon could easily split the boat in half, and having an aerial rescue wouldn't be a bad idea if that were to happen. After placing a tracker on the animal, the team plans to lure the megalodon into a trap using a cage with bait and a diver. Smaller sharks circle the cage but back away when something colossal approaches. The gigantic creature attacks the cage, startling the diver Su Yin. However, she injects a tranquilizer into the monster while struggling inside its mouth, but the megalodon persists, trying to swallow the cage and putting Suyin's life in danger. At this point, Jonas acts heroically by diving into the water and swimming toward his friend. While the shark continues to pull the cables, a crew member falls into the ocean, luring the shark in his direction. This offers Jonas the opportunity to save his teammate. The megalodon swiftly moves toward the surface to attack the new target, but the woman narrowly escapes, and the shark collides with the boat. Jonas seizes the moment to free his friend but realizes her oxygen is running out, causing her to faint. With agility, he opens the opposite door of the cage and retrieves the unconscious woman as the cage sinks rapidly. On the ship, the team devises a plan using cables and bait as a trap to capture the megalodon, which approaches Jonas. However, the cables manage to restrain the monster, and then the tranquilizer takes it down, allowing Jonas and Suyin to escape. On the ship, Dr. Heller revives Suyin, and she thanks Jonas for rescuing her. Okay, it's surprising that all these brilliant minds gathered, and they didn't foresee that the shark could easily drag the boat or break the cable, considering its impressive strength. Even more difficult to believe is that a biologist, who should know a shark's weak points, came up with a plan to precisely target the one spot that could irritate the animal and drive it away. I don't understand how she could think that pointing a laser at the eyes of a likely light-sensitive animal would be a sensible decision, considering that applying the tranquilizer anywhere other than the dorsal fin would have been more effective. Later, together on the deck, they watch the trapped monster, and as Jonas takes a photo of his colleague, his friends playfully push him into the water after he gets startled by the shark's corpse. Meanwhile, Jonas points out the bite mark on the base's glass to Suyin and comments that the jaws of that animal didn't seem to match. However, before they could make any comparisons, an even larger megalodon emerges, swallowing one of the men and grabbing the smaller megalodon with its immense jaws. The animal is so heavy that it causes the boat to capsize, throwing everyone into the water. Desperately, they struggle to climb onto the ship's hull, while Jonas manages to rescue Suyin's father, who is seriously injured from the fall. However, they notice that Dr. Heller is still in the water and realize the shark is approaching again. In a heroic act, he starts to thrash around to draw the animal's attention, and with his sacrifice, they recover the lifeboats. However, the relentless pursuit of the megalodon continues, drawn by the movement of the boats. Fortunately, Morris had called for reinforcements, which arrive in time for the rescue. The soldiers implant a tracking device on the creature's dorsal fin and continuously fire into the water, forcing the megalodon to retreat to the depths of the ocean. They escape the danger, but Suyin's father doesn't survive, leaving his daughter in tears. Back at the base, Morris announces the closure of the research facility until the megalodon is eliminated, claiming that he doesn't want to risk more lives and that he has informed the government about the situation. However, his statement is a sham, and in reality, Morris flies with his men towards the giant shark, seeking to eliminate it and avoid any legal implications. They drop several bombs into the water, causing massive explosions that make a gigantic body float to the surface. As they approach, they discover that smaller sharks are feeding on what appears to be a whale, and while they realize the megalodon's approach, they speed up the boat. Morris accidentally falls into the water, where he is devoured by the monster in a matter of seconds. Indeed, Heller's sacrifice was brave but somewhat reckless. If he had swum calmly to the boat, he would have had a chance to survive since the shark mainly relies on vibrations and has limited vision. As for Morris, it's clear he has no experience with marine life, as whales and sharks are very different in size, sound, color, and behavior. His death resulted from pure recklessness and could have been avoided with more caution and a better prepared team. It would have been wiser to remain in the helicopter instead of exposing himself to danger on the boat. The next morning, the truth about Morris is revealed, and the team needs to act quickly to locate the megalodon before it causes more havoc. They head out to the ocean and track the creature, which is heading towards a beach crowded with swimmers. When they attempt to alert the authorities, they aren't taken seriously and decide to take matters into their own hands, planning to scare off the shark with whale sounds and weapons on their ship. Meanwhile, numerous people swim near the beach, unaware that they have become potential prey for the monster. The megalodon approaches, leaping toward the people, devouring everything in its path, causing panic as everyone struggles to escape its voracious jaws. The creature persists in its attacks against the people, advancing with ferocity. However, it suddenly changes direction, drawn by the distant sound of a whale, and goes after prey that would truly satisfy its appetite. Suyin and Jonas prepare to face this threat, but the shark surprises them, breaking their formation. Jonas starts to attract the monster's attention, trying to avoid being bitten, dodging between the rocks to avoid being an easy target. However, the monster displays cunning and almost catches him, causing Jonas to damage the side of the submarine while evading it. As he emerges from the rocks, he guides the shark towards Su-yin, urging her to shoot, and they manage to hit the first torpedo, injuring and disorienting the monster. At this moment, several media helicopters appear to record the epic showdown between man and the megalodon. However, one of them gets distracted and collides with the other, resulting in the crash of both aircraft, with one of them hitting the ship, causing the crew to fall into the sea. Jonas instructs Su-yin to help the others while he distracts the megalodon. Su-yin uses her submarine to rescue everyone from the water. Realizing that her friends were in danger, Jonas decides it's time to end the situation and goes to confront the shark. In an attempt to wound the monster, Jonas uses the damaged side of the submarine as a sort of blade, cutting the shark from end to end and causing a massive injury. However, this enrages the creature, which attacks and destroys the submarine. What the megalodon didn't expect was that Jonas would leap out at the last moment, and in a desperate attempt to win the fight, Jonas uses the wreckage of the submarine to pierce the creature's eye, leaving it completely vulnerable. However, before the megalodon could retaliate, its blood attracts a series of smaller sharks that begin to devour the creature, tearing it into pieces. Just before Jonas becomes part of the shark's menu, Su-yin surfaces to rescue him, and they all emerge from the ocean victorious, proving that humanity remains at the top of the food chain. Hey guys, this was like surviving the megalodon in The Meg, and if you believe you'd succeed in surviving this monster, tell me in the comments what you would do differently. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, in the deepest abysses, the greatest fears can become real.